Hurricane Lee. New England and Canada warned that large and dangerous storm will hit in hours. And we have the map by NOAA showing us the expected path of the tropical storm force wind speed probabilities for 120 hours from 2 a.m. today, Friday, September 15, to 2 a.m. Wednesday, September 20th. And you're going to see it clips Manhattan. It goes through Cape Cod into Maine and then into New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, parts of Quebec. So the eastern seaboard is going to be clipped, which doesn't happen very often. Hurricane Lee has been downgraded to Category 1 cyclone over the past week, but despite weakening forecasts warn the looming storm could still cause considerable damage. Hurricane Lee has continued to hurtle towards New England and the Atlantic coast of Canada, with current projections showing it will make landfall over the weekend. And while considerably weakened after hitting Category 5 last Friday, Lee remains large and dangerous, forcing Maine to issue its first hurricane watch in 15 years. The National Hurricane Center said in its latest advisory on the forecast track, the center of Lee will approach the coast of New England and Atlantic Canada today and Saturday. Lee is then expected to turn towards north-northeast and northeast and move across Atlantic Canada Saturday night and Sunday. And Lee is forecast to become post-tropical and begin weakening by Saturday, but is still expected to be a large and dangerous storm when it reaches eastern New England and Atlantic Canada. While not directly affected by Hurricane Lee, meteorologists have warned the residents living between Long Island and the U.S.-Canada border could experience up to 3 feet in storm surge. Residents in areas of Boston Harbor, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket in Massachusetts have been told to prepare for 1 to 3 feet storm surges. Lee is currently expected to make landfall between Saturday and Sunday, triggering intense rain and threatening affected areas with flash flooding. This storm will be affecting more than just the coast. The winds will ramp up on Friday, crank through the day on Saturday, and then slowly start to taper off as we head into our Sunday. Forecaster Stephanie Abrams said. Joe Biden issued an emergency declaration for Maine ahead of Lee's arrival in order to free up Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA resources to best coordinate all disaster relief efforts. Now, while forecasters fear that Lee would shift from its northward path, the hurricane's eye is now forecast to pass east of the U.S. coast, thank goodness, but the storm's wind field spreads for hundreds of miles across the cyclone and will dip buckets of fresh water on already saturated grounds. The U.S. Coast Guard and emergency management agencies warn New England residents to be prepared, and utility companies brought in reinforcements to deal with power outages. At Boothbay Harbor Marina in Maine, the community came together to remove boats from the water to keep them out of harm's way. Similar scenes played out elsewhere, including in Kenbuckport Marina, where crews planned to take 100 boats out of the water, said Kathy Norton, Marina Management. And the majority of New England is now under a tropical storm watch, and the Canadian province of New Brunswick is bracing for potential landfall over the weekend. A year ago, the remnants of Hurricane Fiona washed houses into the ocean and knocked out power to most of 2 provinces. And New Brunswick Minister of Public Safety, Chris Austin, urged residents to assemble a 72-hour safety kit that includes batteries, water, food, medication, and a radio. This is according to Express UK by Aurora Bassotti. And NOAA tells us about the storm. The time of the tropical cyclone center location at the bottom of the graph will be 3 hours earlier than the time of the current advisory. The graphics show probabilities of sustained 1-minute average surface and wind speeds exceeding 39 miles an hour. The wind speed probability graphic are based on official National Hurricane Center track, intensity, and wind radii forecasts on NHC forecast error statistics for those forecast variability during recent years. And but basically they're talking about the average wind temperature. So all of you there, please be very careful and alert, and keep your emergency packs ready. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.